Prime Minister of New Zealand, Christopher Luxon, is in India on a 5-day tour. He is scheduled to meet External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar later in the day as well. Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Luxon are likely to hold talks tomorrow. He'll also be meeting with the President tomorrow. Remember, this is Luxon's first visit to India, and after New Delhi, he'll be heading to Mumbai as well before returning to Wellington. My colleague Ghazali is still with us. Ghazali, New Zealand Prime Minister visiting India for the first time. It's quite significant as far as trade ties are concerned, but in terms of New Zealand, he does say that he's focusing on investment in New Zealand as well as, say, expansionism from China.
See, two areas will be the focus of discussion. One, certainly the free trade agreement, which is still stuck between India and New Zealand. And New Zealand also recognizes the fact that in some years from now, India will be the third largest economy. Right now, it's the fifth largest economy. And this investment prospect is now attracting a lot of Western countries, considering the fact that how Mr. Trump has been imposing tariff threats, imposing tariffs and issuing threats about tariffs to other countries. And that has certainly seen Europe getting into a hurdle. That is one aspect of the visit that the New Zealand Prime Minister will be looking at, to look for more investment and to strengthen the investment ties and trade ties between India and New Zealand. Also, we have had historic connections with New Zealand. Remember the White Revolution. In 1970, New Zealand sent around 100 cows from New Zealand to India to boost the milk production in India. So that kind of historical connect we have with New Zealand. The second certainly is the security, because these days security is a term which every country is very concerned about, considering the global conflict going around in two regions, though we are talking about peace as well. But New Zealand is also concerned about the rising Chinese influence in the Pacific Ocean. We saw Prime Minister visiting Mauritius because Chinese influence is growing in the Indian Ocean. New Zealand is located in the Pacific Ocean, and there are many islands, a club of islands called Cook Island, which has relations with New Zealand, but China is also secretly and at times very openly has been maneuvering around in that island to get those country to get that country into its own kitty, and that is something which is area of concern for New Zealand, and that is why this visit is very important when it comes to security and trade and investment ties with India. So these areas will certainly be of focus, and as usual you know that New Zealand also has a huge Indian diaspora. So when it comes to people-to-people exchange, or what we call the public diplomacy, soft diplomacy, this will be part of the discussion, but trade and security will certainly occupy or will be on top of the agenda when the two leaders meet.